Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 23 and we are going to be learning the track of Sokol in Kazakhstan. This is a brand new track to me. I believe it's a brand new track in general, but I'm not entirely sure. I have never tackled it before. I did 1 or 2 laps just for a review clip, and I gotta say I wasn't a big fan of this track either, like I wasn't a big fan of the Buda track. Out of the two, I would say this one is the better out of the two. It's got some interesting corners, but we'll see how we get on here. It's going to be a learning curve for us both. We're going to be learning this together as I do the commentary here today. So once again, as last time, everything on extreme settings, no guides, no aids, no assistances, just focusing all on the racing and pure instinct to tackle the track of Sokol. So another long straight we are greeted to here, about 3 in this one, all too long and not very interesting, but it does give you a chance to just take a breath and relax a little bit on this straight. So Quattararo going into the right-hander of turn 9, a long sweeping right-hander, reminiscent of Catalonia for example there. Long right-hander, but now onto the brakes again, going into a very tight apex. That's wide, that is definitely wide. And this part of the track reminds me a lot of the Circuit of the Americas. A lot of twisting, moving, and just general direction change throughout this track. It's an interesting track. I do get the feeling that they've tried to do something to make it interesting, but majority of it is just not that interesting. But across the first part, we've done a 1:37.901. Now, I will be honest, I have no idea what our potential will be in this video today. 1:36? Yeah, why not? Let's call it for a 1:36. Let's hope we can do that. And if we do get into the 1:36s early on, I'd like to see if we can get into the 1:35s. But very gentle braking into turn 4 before we find the limits, of course. And now into the right-hander again, trying to gauge where these braking markers should be, because there isn't actually anything dotted around the circuit. There's nowhere to really say, this is where you need to brake, here is 20 metres away. I don't see anything. Pure instinct for the rider and the player in this instance. So into the left for turn 7. We'll move it over to the left and then keep over to the right for the tight apex. A bit too tight, because if you're cutting the apex there, it's not going to be a very good racing line, and I wouldn't mind betting that the AI will probably clatter into you there, and they will probably make contact. So bear that in mind. What lines you do learn, you're going to have to see what the AI does as well, because it might be great in time trial, but when you actually take it to the track and race against the AI, they're probably just going to bump you and take you out the track. So just bear that in mind when doing time trial. But now into the right-hand side, we are up by 0.5 of a second, so we have improved. But at this early stage, every lap should effectively be an improvement. So it's just gambling and guessing for the time being. So across the line, a very late line actually. I thought that'd be further up, but there it is, a 1:37.301. That is exactly 0.6 of a second quicker than our first official lap. Now, I will say, it does feel more natural to me, this track, than the other one did. I was really struggling in Buda. I just didn't find the rhythm. I never felt confident, but I think this one feels quite good. The corners aren't particularly too far spaced out. Some are stop and go, and some, of course, long continuations. So maybe it's not a bad track after all. Maybe I've been too harsh on the Kazakhstan round of MotoGP. So, I guess we've got, what, so many laps? I'll aim for 10. 10 or 11 laps, depending on what kind of lap we're doing at the time. And we're already up by 0.6 of a second, so we are trending to go into the 1:36s for the first time of asking. But we'll see if we can actually get into the 1:35s. That'll be a whole new challenge entirely. Now, of course, guys, let me know in the comments section down below what lap times you are producing here in the Sokol Grand Prix. I'm very keen to know where my pace is at the moment. I do feel quite strong, I do feel quite good. Of course, getting used to the acceleration and the gyroscopic feeling of the bike moving into a more neutral position, it's unique and it will take time to learn. But as we keep doing these races, these time trials, these sessions, the MotoGP Academy, I feel everything is beginning to click. So coming out of the final corner, just 12 corners here in Sokol. Keep an eye on the right hand side of the screen, because that is imploring you to subscribe. So if you are enjoying the content and you're enjoying this lap time, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So into turn 1, we're still going to go in there quite hot, and this is where I'm beginning to learn the physics about MotoGP 23. You can brake extremely late and extremely late into the trail braking, and quite firm as well. Much different from MotoGP 22, and the feeling going in there is, if I was doing this on 22, on last year's instalment, I would have crashed. Here in MotoGP 23, I go beyond that feeling of, oh, I didn't crash. Oh, I'm still trail braking and I've not crashed yet? This feels good. So, with that in mind, it is a bit easier, the braking, so I should be braking like I'm playing 23, not like I'm playing MotoGP 22. Now, it isn't as easy as that, of course. The muscle memory, the feeling, the feedback of the controller, the sensations you get, and the already what's in your mind is what should be right, is being changed. And I think sometimes it's good to be challenged, and I'm looking forward to constantly learning more and more tracks here in MotoGP 23, but we have gone wide, almost invalidating the lap, but finger wag, we didn't. We stayed on board the bike and we stayed within the track limits. Now, I don't want to invalidate any laps. We invalidated way too many in the Grand Prix of India for the Buddha International Circuit. Well, now it's downshifting too early. That's a habit that I'm still not quite fixed yet, is it? I'm still downshifting way too high in the revs to go down to first, but across the line we did lose 3.5 tenths of a second. It's okay. We don't need to panic. We don't need to stress. So very late into the braking marker there and trail braking quite a long time. Backing cross now to the right. Staying in second gear for these change of directions. Have upshift to third. Might not be necessary, but I do feel right with that one. Going to try a wider line this time for turn 4. Was that beneficial? Looks to be roughly around the same. That's what you got to do when you're learning a track. Take those wider lines, take those extra braking markers, go wide in a few corners. Got to find the rhythm, haven't you? Got to find the feeling. And this is a rather enjoyable part. Remember everyone learning Mandalika in the past MotoGP game? That was rather exciting. And of course for Superbike, learning San Juan, learning Most. Been very fun. Oh, I just turned in too quickly. Very, very, very too early. Just touching the apex and cutting across the outside of the track. That does invalidate our first lap, and I've got to say, there's something really gnarly and soul-crushing about that corner, about in the top right corner of the screen there, that red cross, or the black cross inside the red box. It's just so disheartening. It's like when you get the penalty time on Ride 4, it really just knocks you sick, doesn't it? I just don't like having that there. We've got to do some better lap times than that. We managed 4 in a row without invalidating, but unfortunately on the 5th, mistakes were made and we have our first invalidated lap. Now, something else to mention, I don't want to be changing any of the tyres in this one, and before anyone asks if you made it this far in the video and you're still wondering, I haven't changed the settings or suspension or anything like that at all. Everything is completely default. You could effectively say the default is the DrAce's suspension settings and everything else, but the setup is exactly what you would get when you buy the game and you play it on your own. So with that in mind, I'm hoping to just do the hard front and medium rear. It's the combination that's just resonating with me the most. Every track I've done, the hard front, medium rear combination is the key. Medium front I can get away with, medium rear, soft rear is fine, but the soft front, forget about it. It doesn't match my style as we just slide into turn 6. That was a nice braking point actually. I think I'm growing to like turn 6 there. And with Fabio Quartararo, with the Yamaha, this feels incredibly smooth to ride. I tried the Honda online a couple of days ago in the live GP race. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was one hell of a battle. If you get to see it, then I highly recommend you watch it after this video. But we've also tried the Ducati, felt pretty good. The Honda is a difficult bike to ride, no doubt. The Aprilia feels pretty solid. But the Yamaha, still the sweet handling bike. Might not be the sweetest, because that was once the Suzuki GSX-RR. But I'm quite liking this whole Yamaha. I think it's growing on me. Or as I seen in the Discord server the other day, the Yahama. So anyway, if you're in the Discord server, you'll know what I mean. If you're not, then I implore you to join in the description down below. But coming out to the final corner then, the subscribe button rises to the screen once again as we cross the line to 136.901. So, yeah, okay. Without the invalidation of the previous lap, we are on a relatively consistent pace. Still stuck in the 136s though. Is the 135 beckoning Dr. Ace? I guess we've got a couple of laps to find out, and I hope I can impress you guys. So into turn 4, very tight to the apex, almost too tight, because you see we lost the speed coming out of the corner, but judging by the graphic, we are up by 5/6 tenths of a second. Now down to 5 tenths as we just invalidate the lap. Oh, still struggling with bringing on the acceleration. Oh, goodness me. But now the inhibition has gone. This is what I've always preached in the past. Don't just immediately reset the lap because you've invalidated it. The inhibition's gone. You don't need to worry now about trying to put a great lap time in. So you might as well try something that you might not be accustomed to doing. So in turn 6 a moment ago, I went a little bit wider than I usually did, and I felt better for it. And now going into the right-hander here, again firm on the brakes for turn 9, a wider, sweeping line. Does that benefit us? It's about the same really on the gap, but it did feel right as we go into the right-hand side there for turn 10, just braking and just sliding the rear. And I probably should have chose Brad Binder for this one, really. It would have been better to slide in the rear with him, but into the left-hand side for 12. We'll bring on the power and line it up for the straight. Don't invalidate that lap time. I've done it again. Oh, I love that super tight apex. That was a 1:35 lap time, by the way. But of course, there's a massive cross to say invalidated. So this is going to be my second invalidated lap in a row, which is so crazy really when you think about it, because regardless if I went wide there or not, there was no benefit to the actual next lap. So it's a strange one that was invalidated, but it's fine. It is what it is. Got to stop doing that. I've got to keep the bike straight and not go so close to the track limits. It's something you see in real life. The rider's just struggling to keep the bike away from the invalidation point, and unfortunately I invalidated it there and then. But the positive guys and gals is we can get into the 135s. That is a positive for us. We can do it. And the more we learn this track, who knows, maybe a 134 will be in our foreseeable future. Let's hope I'm right. But 4 tenths of a second quicker going into the final long straight as we now brake into the tough braking point of turn 9. The interesting part about turn 9 is that you can't really see that corner until you're there. It just dips away ever so slightly. It's not very noticeable until you're really racing down there very fast. As we slide the rear into turn 10 again. I am enjoying sliding the rear though. The rear brake in MotoGP 23 feels fantastic with the big bikes, as we almost invalidated that lap. So, right then Fabio, let's keep hell away from that invalidation point. And across the line, is it better than the 135.7? It isn't, but it's back into the 135s. So this is the lap. This will be lap 9. I'm going to do maybe, what, 1 or 2 more laps? Let's see if we get into the 135s with a clear, concise, valid lap time. Wow, we're fast into the first split. 5 tenths into the right-hander for turn 4. That's the way you do it. Keep on the right side of the track. Into the right-hander for turn 5. Bit deep coming out of the power there, but we still have that half a second advantage. Do we take what we learned in that previous lap into turn 6? We do. A little bit tentative, but we are up by a second. And as we go for that long sweeping right-hander for turn 8, we're up by 9 tenths. A tenth away from being the magic second. Keeping well away from invalidating this lap, aren't we? But now into turn 9. Braking firm. Nice right Alpine Star boot. Just keeping on the bike for a change. I usually like it when it comes off. Unfortunately, Fabio doesn't really do that, does he? So into the braking marker for the right-hander for turn 10. A bit deep. Oh, I shouldn't have downshifted first there. That was a mistake. We've got too much power and too much torque coming out of the bike then for the penultimate corner. And now into turn 12. Keep her in tight. Bring on the power. And this, keep well away from the white line. Across the line, this is going to be a 1:35.4. Oh, there's definitely a 1:34 in our foreseeable future, ladies and gentlemen, as we almost lost the front there. Didn't downshift a second there as well. That's a mistake. Is it really costing us that much time? We lost a tenth, 2 tenths. Yeah, that was a big mistake. I shouldn't have left it in third. Don't know why I tried it on this lap. A bit deep into turn 4. Yeah, okay, so maybe we won't improve on this one, but as I said earlier, If the inhibition's gone, there's nothing to worry about, nothing to lose. Why not let it fly? Why not just go for it now then? Right, why not? If this is the last lap of today's video, let's go for it, boys and girls. Let's give it everything we've got and a little bit more. Into turn 6, back into... Oh, sneaking on the Yamaha YZR M1. It got a little bit loose, but we've come out of the right-hander for this long straight. Look at your watch, see what time it is. You could do anything you want. You could message people, you could subscribe to DrAce on YouTube. You could do all sorts by the time this straight comes to its conclusion, but into the right-hander for turn 9. Going for that wider sweeping line. Why not try it on the last lap? And it's... okay, maybe not. Maybe there was no improvement, but it stayed roughly the same. But into the right for turn 10, a very tight apex. Oh, that worked beautifully. Oh, that was key. We have learned something here today. We have learned a lot. Have we improved this lap time, which looked dead in the water to start this one off? I'm telling you now, there's a 1:34 in this one. But that will be for another day. If you want to see me tackle this again with the same parameters or something different, let me know in the comment section down below. But there you are then, guys. On the screen you can see my lap times, ignoring the invalidated ones, and you can see we could potentially get a 1:34 if we do a couple more laps. So let me know in the comment section down below, rhyming accidentally, if you want to see more of this track. So guys, thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. It was a pleasure to make this video for you. So like, comment and subscribe if you feel the same way. Don't forget to consider joining the pit crew as well if you want to have some exclusive emojis and even be part of the DrAce team. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.